make my own dressing. Hi, Megan.
Hi. Hi.
Hi, Marion.
Hi, is that better? Whoops. Hi, Megan. Just getting my cup of tea.
Hi, Megan. Can you hear me?
Yes, I'm just having some feedback issues.
Okay.
Got it. Oh, there I am. Okay.
There you are.
Hi, Marion.
Hi, Vicky. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. I've been enjoying some of your posts on Facebook.
Oh, I get quite a mixture because my sister sends me stuff and I'm sort of friends all over the place. So I get a lot of different stuff.
Yeah, my sister's, well, one sister in particular sends some really good ones. So, oh, I see your baby after your cookie.
Hi, Marion. Hi, June. It's Kathleen.
Oh, hi.
Sorry, I don't have the camera on because we've got clients. So for privacy purposes, I don't have the camera on.
Okay. Hi.
So we can all see you.
What do you got for me, please? A word that starts with K.
Yeah, I got it.
All right, what is it? Kleenex. That's a good one. Hi, how is everyone? I hope you can hear me okay.
Oh, I'm fine, Megan. How are you?
Yeah,
Good.
we can
I'm
hear
glad
you.
I got that feedback issue sorted out. That was awful. We're just waiting for a few more people, so just bear with us a few minutes. We're just getting started here. Wait, you said you had another one?
Yes.
Yeah, what do you have?
Thank you.
Gotcha.
Oh, I know. Sharon? Shamrock, yeah, Shamrock.
Sharon, you're just so nice.
I was gonna do Shamrock Shake and say you give that McDonald's.
What is this?
I know how to make those.
Yeah.
Yeah, you add mint and green food coloring. That's about it. It's not.
It's like my, the only shake I like to buy is Shamrock Shake.
Well, you could make it at home. You buy the peppermint extract.
Oh, I have the.
I think it's peppermint, or did I buy spearmint? It's
It's
peppermint. And then I put, you can find that on the internet. You're on?
No, this makes me itchy when it's something wrong.
You can find it on the internet. I think it was just some vanilla and green food coloring. And then you blend it up with your ice cream, your vanilla ice cream.
I don't know how we got on this.
Maybe if you.
Guess that's it.
You're no fun. Sharon? Oh.
There's making. Hello. Looking mighty fine today. I'm afraid they might ask us to be on TV one day. Look out, Mark. Good idea. Yeah, right. Here we go. There's Megan's the math lady. Puppy.
I like your chef's caps.
Oh. We mean business. We're a couple of flying nuns. Remember the flying nuns? Remember that show?
Yes, I sure do.
Right.
And for microphones, is there?
Oh. Excuse me.
Where's the kitchen?
Oh, boy. We're gonna
All of this.
Hello, everyone. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you, Megan. How are you?
Good. We're going to turn this up here. So if anybody can't hear, let me know. I'm going to switch the cameras here in a second, so you'll see more than just my face. We are joined today by a special guest. Give me a moment while I get us ready here. All right, so everybody, this you should be able to see this here. I'm just trying to spotlight everyone here. All right, bear with me because I'm using new technology. But we are joined today by our lovely Teri. Hi, guys. And Jamie Schmale. Nice to meet you.
See you.
For those who don't know, Jamie is our member of, it's federal, right?
Yeah.
Member of Parliament for this area. And we are making a family recipe today, is that right?
Yes, as best as I can do justice to it.
Perfect. All right. Well, I'll let you two.
So
Get to
first
it.
of all, I'd like to welcome, thank you, Jamie, for participating in our little cooking adventure here. I'm pretty sure Jamie had to wrestle the recipe out of his dad's hands, just based on our conversation. So this recipe will be shared with you. Megan has the recipes online, so she's probably already sent them out. So Jamie is going to get started working his way through getting the chili created. But we have, because it is a slow cook recipe, we do have one made ahead so that at the end of the process we can taste it and see how it turned out. Hopefully I didn't fail the Schmale family chili recipe. And then we've got a few other things to show you as well. So we're going to get started. I'd like to again thank you, welcome you on behalf of Community Care. I greatly appreciate you joining us today and having some fun and being adventurous to cook in the kitchen. And if you would like to get started, you can talk through your recipe and then we'll have some questions as we go along.
Okay, perfect. Thank you very much for having me. I'm really excited to do this. Yeah, so this is a recipe that I managed to get my hands on, something that we used, I guess, in the past, having Super Bowl parties and that kind of thing. Of course, the Super Bowl passed, but you know, it's always good to keep the recipe going and talking about it. So we're going to have some chili, and I'm going to try to do justice to this recipe. Hopefully I can get it to the point where it meets my family standard.
All right. So if you want to let them know what ingredients you're throwing in, just as you go, I guess you start with your meat.
Yes.
And then pop it into the pot there and we'll get started. We'll get cooking.
Okay, so we have a wide range of ingredients here. We're going to do them one by one. And the first is the meat. So we're going to allow that to, there is oil in there. Yep, there is oil in there. Let that simmer and cook.
Take that for you.
Thank you so much. Simmer and cook in there. Okay, just bring it up.
Absolutely,
okay,
yeah, you do your thing.
All right.
And this is an induction burner, which is actually kind of handy because it's not super hot, so you should be able to hold your handles if you feel more comfortable with your pot. And that, so remember the first time we tried to use the induction burner, I had the wrong kind of pot and it wouldn't work.
Oh.
So I brought a pot with me that I know will work. So Jamie's gonna work on his chili. As you guys know, we're doing a spinach salad as well. So I'm gonna make a homemade dressing for the salad. So I'm gonna work away on that while Jamie's working on his chili. And then I'm also gonna show
I
you.
wondered if they were going to.
Oh, yeah, so, see, maybe here's,
Okay, gotcha.
now, this one, there might be the odd one I can salvage,
Okay.
but not many of them, if you can't read it.
How bad that is,
Yeah, so I don't know if you wanna,
All
I
right.
don't know, is it the way that?
On, we can hear you.
Label.
Any questions from the audience?
That sounds good.
Ask you some questions.
Oh, you're gonna ask me questions.
Oh, yeah, and then we'll take questions from the audience. So,
I think I'm more nervous about your questions.
no, I'm pretty easy going.
Oh, look at the time. I must go. I must go.
Chili's not done, chili's not done. So my first question for you, which is, seems sort of makes sense, is what was your motivation to enter into politics?
Well, it started in my previous career as a journalist. I did that for 7 years, and I really actually wasn't all interested in politics at the time because I was focused on journalism. I had a kind of a goal in mind and what I wanted to do. But then back when I started, and I don't mean to date myself or anything like that, but back when I started, reporters actually had a beat, so to speak, where we covered certain things and we locked into that, followed it, and kind of immersed ourselves in that. That's different nowadays, but mine was politics, municipal, provincial, and federal. And through that, I started at the municipal level, of course, because that's council meetings every week, right? So I was at every council meeting. Hey, this is kind of interesting. You can help people. You can make things better. Like it started to really, just get me thinking about it. And then, of course, through that time, provincial and federal elections would happen, and you're following the candidates. You're watching them door knock or even do a round table, and then thinking this is a great way to stimulate conversation between, not necessarily like-minded groups, but a whole range of views and thoughts on certain topics. And it got me more interested. And then I really thought, I'm interested in federal politics the most, just because I like kind of the international part of it, the trade, that sort of thing. I was really interested in how trade agreements could benefit both countries if done properly and that sort of thing. So that's where it really got me thinking.
Wow.
So
Really interesting.
yeah, it kind of went from a path I wasn't even thinking about to politics. And of course, I ran for the nomination in 2003, 2004. I didn't win, but my predecessor, Barry DeVola, did win the nomination. And he and I really didn't know each other too well, just from the nomination, he was important and that kind of thing. But he asked me to be his campaign manager. I thought it was pretty cool.
Wow, that's nice.
And through that campaign, he and I think, developed a like for each other, a respect for each other. And when he won in 2004, he asked me to be part of his team and his executive assistant. I did that for 11 years. And then when he decided in 2013 or 14, I believe, that he wasn't going to run again, it was still in my blood. I still wanted to serve. I wanted to try to make a difference in the community, and here I am.
Nice. Wow, that's really interesting. That's kind of neat to hear how you just sort of morphed into it from something else that you did as your planned career, and something evolved out of that. That's like what you're doing now has evolved. And I think all of us know, like, community care is all about service and looking out for people. And I think we can make some difference in our community by different things that we do, and in all areas. So I'm going to ask you one more question, and then I've got more. I've got lots. But what do you feel has been, and I asked Lori Scott this one as well, but some of the biggest challenges and rewards during your time in office? And you can pick one or the other. If you don't feel like dealing with a challenge, we can just deal with the reward, because I'm a pretty positive person. I like the upside of things, but yeah, so.
All right, how about we start with the fun stuff first, the rewards.
Fun is always good.
The rewards. This job has a lot of, I think, you can make this job whatever you want. You have that ability to do it. No 2 days are alike. And that's what I love about it. I don't think I've had actually 2 days, especially in the last few months, or actually 2 years. So prior to the kind of the world shutting down, there was opportunities to meet people, whether it be people in the NGO, the non-governmental organizations that are helping people in different countries, to other world legislators and lawmakers. That was a pretty cool opportunity, because you can start talking about your riding, right? Like, I had the fortunate ability to travel to some countries and meet lawmakers in other countries, where, for one, just before the world shut down, I was in Kenya for a few days with a delegation to the Africa Parliamentary Committee. And you were able to promote the riding because they were talking about agriculture and how to grow their industry and create their own domestic food supply. And then you can bring them contacts and say, well, we have this going on in Kawartha Lakes or Halibutron, not so much Halibutron, but Kawartha Lakes-Brock and Cabin Monaghan, that, this is kind of cool stuff going on in our industry, and maybe we can stimulate a conversation with those groups and maybe get some best practice going forward. So
Wow.
yeah,
You're
it was pretty
educating
cool.
and then learning as well from other areas, what they're doing.
Yeah, and then while promoting the area at the same time and helping the economy here, just that type of thing.
Nice.
The other thing is, like, I think if you look back in the history books, some pretty cool things have happened just in my time that I just wake up sometimes just like I can't believe it. Like the closing of the Parliament building. So Center Block is closed to construction right now, and it's probably be for 15 or 20 years or so. It's complete renovation, right back to the bare walls. That's how
Wow.
intrusive this is. So to be in the, other than the Parliament building burning down, to be in that group that was moved to now a temporary facility in West Block, that's pretty historic.
Mhm.
To be the last class of the Center Block to the new class of West Block, that's just on a personal thing, that's pretty cool. And of course, this week we had some fun stuff going on in Ottawa, but that regardless of how you stand on the issue, that'll be in the history books for sure. That'll be something people look back on for whatever reason, right? So it's there are lots of rewards, and of course, doing stuff in your community, just getting little victories here and there, right? Warthog up in the kind of the Minden Kawartha Lakes area, right by Moore Falls, and we're able to make progress on this. It took a while to get going, stuff like that. The Save the Walleye campaign around Bogcajun, trying to waterway allows water through its dam to help the fish population, which has been suffering lately. So it's small stuff like that, but make a big difference, I think, in the lives of many.
Very cool. I want to get a close up here on what you're doing. Are you still?
Yeah, it's pretty much ready. The meat's pretty much cooked.
You can add in, do you want to add in what's your next step on this one? I kind of know, but I'm putting him to the test.
You are, all right.
I'm sorry, but
Well, it's not time for the sauce, I tell you that.
no, you got to get your veggies in first.
Absolutely. I'm just going to make sure it's cooked all the way through first.
And what are you doing over here, Teri?
Okay, so we are this menu because chili can be quite heavy or rich. So depending upon your appetite. So when I had my meeting with Jamie, we came up with a nice spinach salad. And I made a dressing for this. You didn't get the recipe for the dressing, but I will send it because it is one I make at home all the time. We've got spinach and very thinly sliced red peppers. Spinach is a really, if you put anything too heavy on it, it's just going to sink to the bottom. So you want to very fine things on top of it. And the dressing is a tarragon and orange and maple vinaigrette. So I tried to tie in because there's maple syrup in this chili recipe. So I thought, well, let's pull it all together. And this is actually a vinaigrette I make at home quite often. It's my daughter-in-law's favorite. So our salad is ready. And what I am going to move to next after Jamie shows what he's doing next is I'm going to show you how to prepare the tea biscuits. So if you want to do them at home, I have a few little tricks that make things a little bit easier. So we'll get you going that way. So I'm going to pass that on to you, Jamie.
Just to confirm, are we doing the veggies in a separate pan, or
Nope,
you
you're gonna
just want
throw
it in
it
here?
here. I kind of,
Okay.
I threw it to the wind here and I went, that's how I would do it. So I hope that's okay, but I
That
think we
works.
just sauteed.
I didn't know if we were doing it in a frying pan. This is perfect.
Well, because we're doing it all in one pot, I know what your recipe says, you brown the meat, then you add this, and then you brown this and brown. I kind of cooked it all together.
That works for me.
Yeah, so
You're all right with this? I'm
I
all
got
right
the
with this?
veggies
Okay.
go and let them cook for a few minutes, and I added in the seasoning packet, and then I added in all the other ingredients, and Bob's your uncle, I think he came out with.
You are the expert. I am not.
Well, I'm only the expert in my own recipes, right? So.
Do you make chili a lot?
I don't really make it that often. I don't, sadly. I have a very big sweet tooth, so my problem is I make too much sweets. Mostly consume too much.
Speaking of someone who a batch of peanut butter cookies last night and they're half gone, I can relate.
Very good.
Oh, I almost forgot. Do you want the corn in now?
I'm sure you can put the corn in as well if you want to.
Okay, it's really starting to fill, and this is looking good.
I did give you a couple spoons in case anything needs to be sort of scooped
Oh,
out,
thank you.
just because sometimes things stick, especially if they're frozen. So you guys got the recipe for the tea biscuits. So my little trick, I have a few, but my biggest little trick is everything needs to be cold. And there's two things with tea biscuits if you want really good fluffy tea biscuits. You have to cut in butter. The best way to do that is your box grater, because tea biscuits you really don't want to overwork. The old-fashioned way was you cut it in little cubes and you squeezed it with your fingers. But by doing it this way, I literally have to do very little with regards to putting my hands in. So you just basically want to coat all this with the butter, with the flour, give it a squidge. My flour's cold, everything's cold. I always keep the bowl in the freezer when I'm making tea biscuits. And then we'll add in the cold buttermilk. And then the next trick to it is to let them rest. So when you make your dough, you want to let it rest for a good 15, 20 minutes. Leave it alone before you roll it out and make your biscuits. And that's how you get a really nice tender biscuit. Go from there. And we made some, so we actually get to taste them. So you get to see what they look like.
Mm.
I have a bit of a reputation with these tea biscuits. So hopefully I don't make a mistake here today.
I think I learned something. Keep it in the freezer.
Everything cold. Everything cold. Pastry instructor. Don't touche pas, don't touch. Our hands are hot.
Looks like the veggies are cooking nicely here.
Yeah, you can do whatever you think you need to do. It's all the nice thing about chili.
You really can't go
You
wrong.
can't go wrong.
You really
Everything's going to go into the pot. It's going to get happier the longer it cooks, and it's even happier the next day.
Absolutely.
So that's a good thing. The one thing I really liked about this recipe is all the vegetables.
Yes.
I love vegetables, and I like that there was mushrooms and there was the peppers and the onions. Like I liked all the vegetables going in there. I thought that was a good thing.
Absolutely. It smells amazing. We're going to add some kidney beans now. Kidney beans. We're going to add some tomatoes and some baked beans very shortly here.
It smells very, very good in here right now.
Is it ever? All right, so I'm going to add the beans. That's all right.
Oh, this is your deal. You do what you want to do.
Is that all right?
There's no cooking police in here. We're pretty happy.
Okay, all right. Just strain this out.
I'm always happy. Oh, no, I think that one goes all in.
That all goes in? Okay.
That's your beans and that have the maple syrup, I think is what you told me. That's
Yes.
what's in the recipe.
Oh, you've already added the maple syrup. Okay.
No, it came that way. I'm assuming that, because I think the recipe said the baked beans that have maple syrup.
Yes.
And then there's maple syrup as well.
Of course
So,
there's more maple syrup.
oh,
So that's a can of baked beans.
Yeah.
Oh.
and it's a funny thing because I don't normally use that, but my mother-in-law made chili at Christmas time. And it was really good, and she had some baked beans in, and she puts that in her recipe. So I don't know if that's more of an older recipe, but it was very good.
Wow.
So yeah.
Tomatoes.
Let's see what's going on.
Ta-da!
Oh, look inside that pot. Things are getting happy in
They
there.
are getting elevated here. It smells amazing.
So my next question for you,
Yes.
Jamie, is there anything upcoming that is happening in the city of Kawartha Lakes that you'd like to share with us?
Well,
Anything exciting coming up or?
there's always exciting things happening.
Obvious.
Always exciting. Well, I think most people are pretty excited. The fact that life is slowly starting to return to normal for Kawartha Lakes. It looks like I'm hoping that the international plowing match is a goal for this. That would be amazing.
Nice.
If you know about the international plowing match, it attracts visitors from all over, and it will be held at the Lindsay Fairgrounds. Now, this was supposed to happen in 2020, I believe memory serves, and then the world shut down. So it's been put on hold, and the organizers have been kind enough to hang on to Lindsay as the spot that they're going to hold it. So this is good news. There's a bunch of other events that are slowly coming back on. It's not Kawartha Lakes, but the Maple Syrup Festival in Sunderland is on this year. it's that's something that's been delayed a couple of years. So things are coming back. I'm pretty excited.
Very, very good news. Very good news. I think that, it'd be nice to see the world come back to at least some sense of normalcy as best as we can, and still stay safe, but, get in there as best as we can. Now, we had hit a little bit on this, but politics was not your first career choice. So can you tell us a little bit about your career prior? Now, you did just hit on it a little bit with regards to your beat and everything, but if you had something like a fun story from when you were doing the news and when you were dealing with your journalism career, or?
Well, even just as a journalist, I covered some pretty interesting stuff, some pretty historical stuff. Probably the most serious was 9/11, of course. That was, as a news person, that was pretty intense. Yeah. Also, the blackout of 2003, I was covering.
Oh,
and,
wow.
That's, most people don't remember that, but it's one of those things you know exactly where you were when that happened, right? You were there. I remember because I was working at the radio station in Lindsay at the time, the power was completely out and our backup generator wasn't working. So I called the fire chief at the time, and the fire chief hooked up, I guess, the emergency generator they had, so we could at least get some information out.
Yeah.
Of course, there wasn't internet really at that time, but even if you had it, you wouldn't be able to turn on your computer, and cell phones weren't as widely used, or at least had the information that they do now. So radio was the way to get your information out.
Yeah.
So that was very important that we got that going as soon as possible. And just being able to tell people what grocery stores were open if they needed something, where you could get gasoline, where you can get baby formula, all that sort of thing. And
that's huge.
It was, at the time, it was a massive community service.
Yeah.
Nowadays, it'd be a bit different because you probably still go on your phone and figure it out. But to be able to say to people, okay, you need baby formula, such and such supermarket is open, or Minden at the time, because they use Aurelia power because of the big dam in Minden, they weren't out. So people who were really desperate or for fuel could go up to Minden because they still had fuel. But just getting that information out, people would know that.
Oh yeah.
Was very
complete. It's amazing. We don't realize just how much technology has changed in the last. I've been a working person for quite a while now. I'm not going to date myself too much, but I can remember my first office job, and I worked on an electric typewriter. We did not have a computer in, and I can remember being so excited to be one of the administrative assistants at the time that got a computer system, but it basically took up the entire top of my desk because it was like, this wide and this deep, and it just was huge compared to now. Like, I work on a little laptop that is nothing, and it was so different. And I can remember one of the companies I worked for, we used telex because we dealt with a British company. The General Electric Company of England was our head office. So I used to have to send telefaxes through well, my goodness, you don't have a clue what you're typing when you're trying to do that, and you send it out and it's like you see it afterwards in print and you're like, send something really bad overseas, right? But it's quite an adventure. So it's come so far, but you think about the telephones, the cell phones and all that information. So we did rely quite heavily on our radios to get that information when we didn't have another resource.
one package of, I guess, chili spice.
Yes, and how much of the maple syrup did you put in there?
Quarter cup.
Quarter cup.
It is in the recipe, so and I went by the recipe, so I did follow your, and then I couldn't get a plain pasta sauce, so I got one that had a little bit of garlic and herbs, but it'll
that's even better.
Even better.
Even better.
So one of the things that Jamie, when we were discussing, and I think he's maple syrup guy over there, and said about having a sweet tooth. When I asked about a dessert, because you guys all know I'm known for desserts, he said when he was a kid, there was a cake that he used to like. That was like a chocolate caramel poke cake, more or less. So for those of us who know what a poke cake is, they're usually done with Jell-O. And so this one was a little bit different because it's done with caramel. So I had to kick it up. So we went salted caramel. because that's one of my favorite flavors. And in this particular kitchen, I am sans a wooden spoon.
Oh.
So, that being said, we have the best thing in this world to create little pokey holes in it to be able to put this caramel sauce on top. So thank you, gloves. My hands are clean. And this is my chocolate cake recipe that I've been making since I was about 16 years old. This is a cake that sells over and over and over again. And everybody that tries it wants the recipe, and I give it out freely. Happy for everybody to try it. It's probably the easiest chocolate cake recipe going, but it is the best by far. So we've had this cake a few times, haven't we, Megan? Yes.
Yeah. This chocolate cake is to die for. I can't even imagine what it would be like with the caramel.
Well, I wouldn't have even thought of the caramel, so I like where this is going. So
I
yeah,
was hooked when I tried that.
I can just imagine. So we're going in and we're gonna caramel
Look
it.
at that.
And then, of course, if it's not decadent enough,
That's
we're
just a thing
gonna-
of beauty right there.
we're gonna top it with Cola Whip. So you want to make sure it gets down into those nice little
Absolutely.
holes in there. It's just gonna taste terrible, I'm sure. We'll have to
You know-
just take one for the team and try it.
Absolutely.
You know,
It probably is going to be horrible. You should let me just take it home.
You just got some really good. He's a good sport, isn't he?
Yes.
Nice person. I don't wanna-
You just don't want anybody to suffer.
Exactly. That's
Yeah.
right. That's right. I'm good that way.
One of the things that you shared with me in our conversation was that you're local to this area. You grew up
Yes.
in this area. What do you feel are some of the highlights of growing up in this area? My family's been here since 1989, and my kids were raised here. My youngest was born here, and it's a fabulous place to raise and have a family. And as someone who's an adult and who can share back, what did you enjoy about being from this lovely community?
Well, I grew up in Bobcaygeon. So I went to high school in Fenland Falls, go Falcons. And so a lot of memories. Probably a great memory for me growing up is when I played hockey. I was a goalie, and probably says a lot. We went all Ontario. We didn't win, but we had gone all Ontario. And that was the first time in, I can't tell you how long, Bobcaygeon had got that far. So I remember, games 1, 2, 3. We were at Bobcaygeon Arena, the old Bobcaygeon, still is the old. It was older then, but you could really get up close to the players and the benches at that time. They don't have the benches they do now. So every time a goal was scored, the building, I swear, was shaking. It was just, I think everyone in town showed up for them. And, when you're bantam, you're, early teens, you kind of feel like you made it, right?
Wayne
Like,
Gretzky.
yeah, it was incredible. Because normally in the other game, this is bantam, you get just the parents and maybe a few friends, or the stands would be cold.
Yeah.
But to have it you could not move in that arena. It was so full, and the energy, and everyone was talking about it around the village, right? Like it was the talk of the town, right? Like that was pretty cool.
That was a very nice experience.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really cool to have that. It's such a beautiful area. We are so blessed to live here, and we're very fortunate. And I'm thankful every day that we came here. We've been here for a while, but I think it's just we're so lucky to be here and developed some great friendships and met some wonderful people along the way, and just such a great community to live in, and great to be able to serve back. What are some of your favorite hobbies?
Well, a lot of it. I will say this. I did prior to COVID. I did run a lot. I can't remember how many half marathons. I did one marathon and that kind of thing. And kind of a downside of COVID, I stopped running. And so I'm kind of regretting that, but I want to get back into it. But I think anytime you stop something at kind of that level, building back up is kind of something that kind of takes your motivation away, demotivates you. So you gotta get back on track.
Have to go slow, I think, is my understanding of those things. You can't be going too crazy or you're going to hurt yourself, and then you can't do anything, right? So
yes,
I'm gonna try and finish up showing you what happens with these honey biscuits. So they've had a good 15, 20 minutes to rest. Roll them out. So there's a big difference. When you let the dough rest, like it's so much different than when you first, whenever I'm teaching, when we have a co-op student or somebody, I always tell them, like, poke the dough at first, and then 15, 20 minutes, I want you to poke it again. Like, it's a completely different feel, and it just lets the glutens relax in the dough, and that way your biscuit should come out a little more tender. The recipe, I use buttermilk, but if you don't want to buy buttermilk because it only comes in a liter, I think I gave you the tip on how to make your own, just with either some lemon juice or some vinegar and some milk, and it has basically the same impact because you want that acid to work with the baking powder that's in the biscuit recipe. So again, I'm in a kitchen that doesn't have my biscuit cutters, so we're going to do triangle shaped biscuits. So we're going to do it almost like a scone format. There's two different things you can do with them. If you put them really close together, your sides will stay really soft. I'm all about the crispy edges. So I don't like them really close together because I like the whole thing to be crispy on the outside. Oh, yes. Just personal preference. And this is a base biscuit recipe that I gave you. You can turn this into a sweet biscuit. You can put cinnamon and raisins in it. You can put cheddar in it and herbs. You can do anything pretty much with this. I've done them with chocolate chips. My grandkids like them with chocolate chips, so you can do them with just about anything. We've done them with pumpkin in them. For my youngest son loves pumpkin and everything. So, and then they just bake in a high oven. And I don't know if you can see that. I don't know if you can get in close enough, Megan, but there's like little layers in between. So all that butter that we didn't squish too much will actually, in the oven, what it does, it's like science. I love science. There's water in the butter. So when it goes in the hot oven, it actually expands. So it goes like a kind of a thing. And that's what gives you those flaky layers in the middle of a biscuit. So they're going to go in and I'm going to show you the finished product because we couldn't do it in the same time frame.
Science class with Teri, huh?
I love science. Bit of a science nerd. So this is what happens at the end.
Look at that.
So I don't know if they look very good to you, but I kind of think they look pretty good. Yeah, and
Amazing.
it really isn't.
Wow.
It really is not hard to do. You just have to be patient, and you have that resting time is crucial. So that's my only huge tip to that.
I don't know who it was, but I could hear somebody voicing their approval. Oh, that was you, Linda.
Oh, busted.
We have our cook come on. Some of our gals that usually cook along. Are we doing that today?
Yep.
Yay! How are you guys making out? They have the best hats. They
Yeah,
have
I
chef
saw that.
hats.
That is.
Yeah.
Got the hat fun.
So I've got a couple more questions for Jamie, but then I would love to open it up. So if you guys have any questions, I know our Adult Day program does. My next question, and it's a simple one, but I'm a foodie, like I always have been. So what are some of your favorite foods or even food memories? Because there's a lot of memories and stuff associated with food.
Well, the poke cake for sure.
There you go. Hopefully I can do it.
Absolutely. I was something like the best friend at the time, who lived on Crystal Lake, who would have me up. His mom liked to try neat little things and made this one day. I haven't gone back since, I got to tell you. And so I think she felt sorry for me because I would keep coming back and she'd keep making it for me. So I was a bit spoiled. So that's a great food memory. The other one is like I said, I have a real bad sweet tooth. Cupcakes, stuff like that. It's yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That's why COVID was rough for me, you know, especially when you stop running and you don't stop eating.
And then there's cupcakes, yeah.
Yeah. So that's. But to be honest, in the job of politics, especially when things were back normal, it would be like I guess any job where you travel a lot, you relied not necessarily on the best choices for meals.
Yeah, you have to get what's convenient.
Exactly, and you would be most times you were given something, right? Like if I went to the Legion for a dinner, a veterans dinner or something, you get what you're given, right? Which is good food, and I'm not complaining. I'm just saying, to be able to maintain, your discipline on kind of eating and weight control, it was different. That's why I ran a lot, right? So
Yeah, oh, yeah. Gives you the option to eat more because you can run it off,
that's
right?
exactly
So,
my logic. I can
Yeah,
have two pieces of pie for dessert.
I have a few friends that think along that same line and it works for them. So to each his own, right? So
Just
excuse
don't
me.
stop running or
Yeah, that's the
reduce the
tricky bit.
consumption.
So I don't know if you guys want to ask any questions. I have one last question for Jamie, but I'm going to save it to the end. So we can ask a few questions and then we're going to try doing up some plating and we're going to see if I did okay with his family recipe so we can try it. And that, so I would like to put it to the floor. I know the adult day program told me that they have some questions.
And if anybody doesn't want to speak, put your question in the chat and I'll read it out for you.
Well, Teri, I wondered when you sent out the recipes because I registered rather late. So I'm wondering if you could send them again.
Yeah, we'll send them for
Please.
sure. Megan has them. So I usually, what the process is I send everything to Megan. Thankfully, she's patient and she sends me gentle reminders to say, oh, I don't have the recipe. And I hate, it's a good thing and a bad thing, but almost all these recipes are in my head. So when I came back to work in community care, I had to start writing things down because I had to teach other people how to do it. So I have an unusual memory in that I retain an awful lot of things. So it's good for me to have to write these things down. So Megan has all the recipes and she forward them to you. The only one I didn't send with Megan, because I didn't even think of it at the time, was the salad dressing. But I will send that as well. So that way you guys can have that through. And you can just, with a spinach salad, you can do whatever dressing you like, but generally I love orange and tarragon and tarragon's one of my favorite herbs. So it's really salad dressing and it's nice and light to go with the spinach salad. But yes, recipes will be forthcoming. So just let Megan.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, I'll send the recipes to everyone who joined us today. So you should all get them.
Super, thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm definitely going to try the Jamie's chili for sure.
Oh, it looks fantastic. Yeah, wrong way. I'm getting used to this. Oh, that looks good. And
I'm salivating here.
They're salivating. That's in the early phases. So you guys know our Meals on Wheels clients will be getting the chili on Friday. We were going to try and do a spinach salad, but unfortunately, right now we're having difficulties getting some things. So my spinach didn't show up on the truck from Cisco. So we're just going to have to revamp that one, but we'll be able to do the chili and the dessert. So we should be good for the Meals on Wheels clients on Friday. Usually when we do one of these, that's a follow-up to it. They get to try what we made. So some of the people who are participating today are not necessarily on Meals on Wheels, but they have the ability to sign up if they want to try the meal. So they can come on. So, and I don't know, Jamie, if you know that this program was brought about because we were doing a diners club. So in almost all the areas that we service for community care in the city of Kawartha Lakes, we would either do a monthly or a weekly diners club program where the seniors of the community could come and congregate with their friends and have a meal and visit. Sometimes we'd have entertainment. Sometimes we would have good facts like, how to avoid bank frauds, health facts, different things. We'd have speakers come in. But with the shutdown of everything, that was one of the first things that fell off the table was we were not able to congregate. We were not able to gather in that setting. So the powers that be, Megan was very involved in this process of let's go live, let's do something virtual. So there was another lady that worked with us, Renee, and they were doing virtual connections with bingo and crafts and even speakers on falls prevention and different exercises and that. So it gave the people that would have maybe liked to come to the Diners Club a way to gather together on Zoom and still get some information. And then we started doing cooking demonstrations like for almost a year now, isn't it, Meg? Yeah. Yeah. So we started doing them like once a month as well. So that's why this has sort of all come to where it's at right now. So we can keep something where they have some community involvement and able to have fun with some of their peers. So
I do have a question here.
Great.
The lovely folks at the Adult Day Program would like to know if it's necessary to constantly stir the chili.
Not necessarily, I just keep my hands busy, really. And it looks like I'm really concentrating, but no, not necessarily, let it simmer.
Is that in lieu of, is that in lieu of going to the
Like
gym?
that is weird instead of in front of a pot, so.
Yeah. We did now. Then that way we can not worry about what his hands are doing.
That was a good question, Kathleen.
It
Thank
was
you.
a good-
Yeah.
Myself, I should probably stop, but looked like I knew what I was doing when I started.
So as you guys know, like if you look at the recipe, it is a slower cook recipe. So for those of you who use maybe an instant pot, crock pot, your steps would be a little different. You would have to brown your meat, put it in the crock pot, brown your vegetables, put it in. Because we did it stovetop, and you can also do it stovetop, to get the desired outcome, the end effect, we made one. I started one this morning, following Jamie's recipe. And so you'll get an idea of what it looks like on a finished effect, which is pretty much almost the same, but you just notice that it sort of richens up. So you get like a darker richness to it as
Whoa.
it cooks.
Oh, yum.
Smells really good.
Mmm.
So we're gonna try it. So I'm gonna get a few things on plate.
It really soaks in the flavor.
Yeah, and chili is like, I love stew or chili soups, anything like that. They get better. Like usually the next day, it's like,
Absolutely.
it's even better. So,
I bet you it's good with tortilla chip.
ooh, it would be-
Oh,
and-
yeah.
or shredded cheese or sour cream, like you can go absolutely crazy. Throw cutlery around.
I have this fondness for those little buns you get at the bakery, the ones with the flour on it. It's
Oh, the
yeah,
back
Clover.
so bad for you, but oh my goodness, so good.
I won't tell you what we call those, or what I call those. They have a lot of preserving agents.
Yeah.
Let me put it that way. Just want to show you guys what we've got. So we're gonna set this up. We gotta put this aside because this is for dessert. I know that's the most important part of the meal.
Wow.
Yeah.
Start with dessert. Work
Yeah.
backwards.
My oldest son is a chef, and that he loves dessert. He's my dessert guy, and he is of that firm opinion that dessert should be first.
Yeah,
Yeah. So
life is short.
yeah, eat dessert first. So I did the one crucial thing that you should never do. You should always taste things before you put them together. Sure, you know. I think we're good. So I'm gonna get some chili. And it's all about the presentation. Not beautiful. And this salad, I love colors. I'm a firm believer you need to eat your colors. You have a lot of nutrients and things that hold color. Sorry, Megan, get a good shot of
Oh,
that.
yeah. That, when you were cutting up the orange, that it smelled so good.
Yes, I love citrus anything. My husband will quite happily tell you my pregnancy craving, my kids, I probably ate about 8 bags of oranges a week. I guess there's worse things you could be
There is
eating,
worse things.
but now, what did I lose? I lost some spoons here. How am I gonna give? There's one. I can't let you try chili without a spoon. Walk that over to you, Jamie. And may I get a biscuit ready for you?
How can I say no?
Good.
Hope you didn't eat lunch before you came.
I did not have lunch. No.
Good. I did warn him about that. You don't eat lunch. Sorry, I'm a butter girl.
That's I am. All right.
Yeah, I'm good. My good Irish roots.
That's right.
Gotta have butter. My grandkids would eat biscuits and nothing else.
Thank you so much.
Please give that a try and let's see what you think. I'm gonna try too.
You're gonna try it all.
Absolutely. Look at this. Oh. Now I know what my biscuits taste like, so I'm gonna try it after. And I'm gonna give this a go. Are you ready?
Ready.
You ready? No,
Ready,
don't.
chef? Hot. It is hot. Well done.
Is that what you remember?
It absolutely is better.
Oh,
Sorry,
don't
Dad.
tell your dad.
Love you, Dad.
You're gonna be in trouble. You're gonna be in trouble.
Uh,
What do you guys think? Do you think you would like to make this?
That
Oh,
is
for
amazing.
sure.
Good.
That is amazing.
Yes.
Good. Excellent. So he's got a sweet tooth. So I'm gonna make dessert for him so he can at least try the dessert, because I think otherwise I could be in big trouble.
But you see the flavor that the maple syrup, the extra maple syrup gives it.
It
A little
is.
sweeter.
It
It's
does have a little sweetness. And
Yeah.
sometimes tomatoes can be really acidic, like some of the tinned tomatoes. I know the trick when you're making a pasta sauce is to add a little sugar to it, just if your tomatoes get really acidic. But it does change the dynamic of a chili. Like usually,
Absolutely.
most of the chilies I've made are not like that. They're much more acidic. All right, I think I can do it.
Let's rock and roll on this. So is that other half just for me, or is that? Oh,
We'll talk. We'll talk.
negotiate.
I'm a good negotiator.
I
I love the laugh. I don't know who's laughing out there, but I'm really enjoying that. Oh, this doesn't look good at all.
No, it looks horrible.
It looks really
It just
like, come on.
it- that just looks horrible, doesn't it?
Yeah, you can't go wrong.
Oh my gosh.
If I start licking the plate, there's no judging me, okay? No judging.
Yeah, we'll turn the camera off for that one.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, so you go ahead and try this.
You're not gonna join me?
Oh, I may come in a little bit later on that one. Okay, I'll go, for
Okay.
sure. Killing me with kindness. What do you think, Megan?
Can't believe you even had to that.
Oh,
Weigh
June,
that as a decision.
June says you need to eat your main course first.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah. True.
We're breaking the rules, June. Yeah, you gotta go crazy. Okay, we're going
Okay,
in.
ready?
Yeah, I've not done this one before.
Haven't done this one before. Gotta get your reaction first.
Oh, we're good. So, and the caramel
Yeah.
just kicks it right up a whole nother direction.
Oh my goodness.
Wow. Friends for life now.
Oh my goodness.
Very good.
Yeah, this is well done.
Thank you.
Well done.
This chocolate cake.
This is an amazing chocolate cake recipe,
Yeah.
by the way.
And you can have the cake recipe. It's really not hard. It's probably the easiest chocolate cake recipe going.
That is unbelievable.
See, I hesitated. And look at me, I'm a mess. There's a reason why I don't do that, because I'm very messy. My husband will be happy to tell you that I shouldn't wear anything white when you go out for dinner. Because I usually wear what I'm eating. So my last question for you is, when you hear the name community care, what do you think of?
Well, I think a whole bunch of things. Obviously, seniors care involved being advocacy for them and ensuring that there are enough supports catching those who are falling through the cracks, right?
Mhm.
Your Meals on Wheels program and many others, just the ability that community care has done in Kawartha Lakes to realize, yeah, we do need a transportation service. Yes, we do need this. Housing, all of this stuff. You really have identified areas in our community that needed the extra attention. And what is amazing is there's been so many volunteer hours, but the staff coming together and realizing there's an issue and working towards that common goal, it really is amazing. You don't see that all the time.
Yeah, we're very blessed. We have such a great team, and I think, we cover so many different areas now too. It's expanded so much with all the different areas that we do cover that, somebody may go into the hospice section and their loved one gets directed to maybe you need Meals on Wheels. Well, this person is in palliative care, or you maybe need transportation. And so we all work together. There's one of the things that I really enjoy, and I've learned a lot this last year with being able to be included in different committees, is that you get to learn what the other people are doing, the other teams are doing, because sometimes we can be isolated in our own job, in our own area that we're working in. So it's really nice that this agency pulls us together quite frequently so that we can brainstorm together and
build teamwork together. And it's one of the areas where I feel like we've really, community here has really hit the mark and done really well.
Absolutely.
And pulled their staff together to be able to do better for the people of our community. So I'm very proud to be a part of it, and I think, you know, it's amazing. We've got some good work left to do, and hopefully we meet up with the expectations of those who were the founding starters of this one. As one of the people you mentioned to me earlier today, who's a very good friend of mine. So I'm always thankful and feel very blessed to be here. So is there any more questions, Meg?
Everybody's been pretty quiet. Does anyone
Are they
have
eating?
anything? Oh. Everybody's pretty quiet. Donna and Eileen, I hope your dinner's going well. Yeah, I got a nod. Yep. Good. So I think we're just about finished here.
Yeah, we are.
One thing I would like to say, first of all, a big thank you to you, sir.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, you're welcome. I'm just gonna turn this camera around here actually, so that I'm not. Hey, now you can see my lovely face. So I just wanted to tell everybody about the upcoming sessions, because we just set them out last night. So our next one is March 9th. We're being joined by Bella Alderton, who's the program director for Women's Resources. And she's going to talk to us about everything that Women's Resources does. March 23rd, we just did this yesterday, Teri, didn't we?
Yes, we did.
So you
That was a gentle reminder from Megan.
hopefully got an email from me. We're taking your suggestions for March 23rd for the cooking. So please send me an email or give me a call if you have any suggestions, anything you would like to see us do, or if you want to learn any, you know, tips and tricks from our esteemed chef.
Be kind, because I think I'm going to probably be on my own. So I'm not going to have somebody to fall back on. So be nice to me.
Right. And then April 13th, we're doing a spotlight on our dental clinic, and April 27th is live music with Musicalodian, otherwise known as Mo. Some of you may have heard it before. He's wonderful.
It's really good.
And I heard chatter in there at that. So somebody else must remember who Mo is too.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Yeah, you do, Donna, I'm sure. I hope you can join us.
Yeah. He's our neighbor.
Oh, he's your neighbor. Oh, that's wonderful. I hope they're good neighbors.
Yes. He's a very good neighbor.
Well, all right. So thank you very much.
Thank you. This was a lot of fun.
Thank you, Janie.
Wow, yes.
This was great.
Good. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you very
you.
much.
That was
Bye-bye.
fun.
Take care. Take care. Bye-bye. Wow.